Hi there, and welcome to Tooth Be Told, your inside look at the PerioVive training team and beyond. In each episode, we explore who we are, what we do, and the powerful role that hyaluronic acid plays in advancing patient care in veterinary dentistry. Today's episode is a very special one for all of us at PerioVive. Today, we are honoring the life and legacy of a remarkable dog named Apollo. Apollo happens to be the very first dog to use PerioVive for canine chronic ulcerative stomatitis. Today, we are joined by Apollo's family to talk about who Apollo was, the challenges they faced during his stomatitis journey, the changes that they saw after using PerioVive, and most importantly, the love that they shared with him. Welcome, Donna and Gary. For listeners meeting Apollo for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about who he was, his personality, his quirks, and what made him so special?
Um, we used to live in New Jersey and we would venture into New York City quite often, ride our bikes. We were downtown at Washington Square and there was something called Adoptapalooza. We had just lost our other dog, Shadow, and we're not looking for another pup. Um, so at any rate, we went there, we found Apollo. We went, we talked, we rode away and we talked a little bit and we decided that it was going to be the right thing to do. So he was a save out of a puppy mill in Tennessee. Um, so we brought him home. Apollo was a burst. He was so much fun. He was shy at first. We lived behind a farm, and we used to take him there to run. So he was always an off-leash dog, and he was just a joy to be around. He was smart. He never chewed anything.
Mhm.
He never shit on the floor. I'm sorry, or peed. It was like he knew exactly what to do. And he kept us healthy. We used to hike 5 miles a day with him, could not tire him out. It was impossible. We were told he'd be like that till the day he died, and
Pretty
it
much he
was
was.
pretty much he
He was.
was.
Yeah.
He loved swimming and balls. Um, Back home, there was a canal, and he actually jumped in and grabbed a basketball that was floating down the canal.
Wow.
Brought it back. And so we had a slew of balls that he would find every time we'd go out, even to the same places. He would find a ball,
Come back from the
which
beach
is
and he would
fun.
bring
Yeah,
a ball. It was
yeah,
everywhere.
it was wonderful. And he made our lives. He really did. He kept an even keel, even for our marriage. That
Mhm.
if we were upset about something or wanted to argue about something, Apollo was always there to just, okay, chill out, take me for a walk,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything. All right. So in a
Wow.
nutshell,
He was
that's it.
very routine. He had his schedule, and especially with brushing his teeth and all the things that we had to do to keep him healthy. And he just was always very accommodating. Like you would call him, come brush your teeth, and he would come. He just
Wow.
always listened
Yeah.
and he was just really, I think he was smart. I do.
He was a
Yeah.
special dog, which I
Yeah.
know everybody says about their other souls, but anyway.
That's wonderful. It sounds like he found you guys, that he knew that he was what you needed after you lost Shadow, and that's really
Absolutely.
special.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, what a special guy. And I love the obsession with the toys and the balls, and he'd always come back with another one, and that's pretty funny. I love that. I love that
His
quirk.
favorite toy was a Beavis, Mr. Bill doll. Do you know
Oh,
who that is? I don't know if you're too young to know Mr.
I
Bill.
know who Mr.
I
Mill is, yeah.
still have the box itself that makes the noise, but it would go, oh no. And we had to buy him a couple because he would go through them. So that was his favorite toy.
Wow, I love that. Well, when Apollo was struggling with his canine chronic ulcerative stomatitis, what were the biggest challenges that you faced day to day? I imagine he probably didn't want to play with his Mr. Bill doll. Tell me more about that, how he struggled.
Honestly, Apollo didn't like we were expecting where he would stop eating and have symptoms. His mouth was raw and red, but he never really stopped. He never stopped with the balls. He would always carry it. Either he had a very high pain tolerance
Y-
or he was just so focused on his balls that it just didn't matter to
He
him.
never really had a lot of the symptom, or at least a couple of the symptoms that somebody
Yeah.
with cups has. He never drooled,
No,
and you wouldn't know it by his day-to-day life,
right,
other than going to Dr. Redmon and showing us these ulcers, and we were
right.
like,
And
how?
she knew he had to be in pain for
Yeah.
what they were, but he was just, he was just always interested in playing. And
So the biggest thing that affected us was, is he in pain?
right.
And we lived every single day with, what do we do? How do we do it? We removed almost all his teeth, but because of his ball fetish, imagine taking a wet fingers and putting a marble in it and squeezing, it would pop right out. So we refused to remove his 13 front teeth.
And then we always felt guilty that leaving those teeth might be the reason why he's in pain because they said you need to remove all of them, but we just,
I don't want to jump ahead,
yeah.
but the doctor we saw, Dr. Bulkey down in Scottsdale, who had worked on wild animals in Africa, etc. Um, he was the one who recommended we remove all his teeth, along with Dr. Redmon. But what happened is, after we removed all his teeth, except for the 13, it didn't get better.
Not
And
even
he
a
was
little
even
bit.
getting ulcers, not even by his teeth.
Mhm.
And he told us that it looks like Apollo was in the 1 or 2% that doing that would not have cured him
Mattered.
or
Yeah.
helped him.
Yeah.
So we were glad we kept his 13 teeth, and we were stuck.
Yeah.
But we continued with the injections, and he was on doxycycline for like most of his life. And
Every three
we
months.
tried to keep the injections were every 3 months, and we just tried to keep it at bay so it wouldn't get worse.
We had to put him under anesthesia, which was horrible, especially as he got older.
Yeah.
Um, and then you guys arrived.
Yeah.
So it's just very thankful. We
Yeah.
really are. So.
That's a wonderful, wonderful introduction to our next couple of questions. So I want to know a little, you guys have mentioned this, but before trying PerioVive, what kinds of treatments had you explored? And it sounds like Apollo really wasn't responding to them. You mentioned injections. Were those steroid injections?
Depro-Medrol.
Okay.
Mhm.
We had tried putting, and forgive me, I don't remember their names now, but we had a medication we would put in his water,
Oh, yeah.
so that okay, it did nothing. Um, we had other medications that he was trying before the doxycycline as
Yeah.
well. Uh,
Oral
Oral
medications.
medications, even antibiotics by the vet who didn't know he had cups.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably had it for 8 months. We didn't
We
know.
tested him for allergies
Yeah.
Okay.
to see if we took him to an allergy specialist down, I think it was down in Phoenix
Yeah.
area, and they did a profile on him, and it wasn't, determined that that was anything. We thought maybe there was something else like environmental or
We considered moving. If something had come back saying, it's because of this or that, then we would have moved in an instant. So
Wow.
um,
Mhm.
I can't. What else did we do?
We constantly like brushed his teeth twice a
Twice.
day. I mean, all his life from when he was young, and we did the water. I
Yeah.
don't remember too much. And the drugs, like oral medication, different things, that they tried. Dr. Redmond probably knows better than we do about all that. But
Nothing worked.
no,
Seriously. I mean,
yeah,
he would get his shots and he'd be okay for maybe a week,
yeah, not
if that.
even. It really,
But we did it because, well, at least it's that many days he's not in pain.
right.
Um,
Wow. Well, you guys sound like dream clients. You put your dog first and did whatever he needed. He was so lucky to have you guys. So
We were
thank you for
lucky
your
too.
commitment to him. He knew how much he was loved. I know that for sure.
we hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow, what a journey. So, with all of that said, do you remember the moment that you first noticed a change in Apollo after starting PerioVive and what really stood out to you?
It was a few days. I mean,
A few days.
his gums went from bright red to like the pale color that they normally are.
Wow.
And I think I called Dr. Redmond back and I was like, "Do you want to see like, this?" And she couldn't believe it. She was
Wow.
just amazed at how fast he had responded to it. And then she's like, after a while, I think we even decreased the amount of times we were doing it because it was working so well. And she had told us to put it like at the back of his mouth, like right where the teeth would have been in the back, because then it goes forward or something. I didn't understand that, but you as a, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
We had no faith, to be honest with
That's
us. We were like,
fair.
okay, we're going to try another thing. It's not going to work. And boy, am I glad it proved us wrong.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. You guys, like I said, had quite the journey with him, and your commitment to him is incredible. So I'm so glad that you found PerioVive. I'm
We're
so glad
really
Dr.
good.
Redmon recommended it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
too.
And we were always like willing to try it right away, of course. There was never a hesitation. She said she had found something new and, that we should give it a try. And it was, of course.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, wow. And what a predicament going back to, your thought about extracting all of the teeth, but wanting to preserve that quality of life so he could still play with his balls. That's so tough because you guys clearly would have done anything that you needed to do, but you have to balance that quality of life with things he enjoys, with the treatment. And so
His
how
personality went through a few
It
changes during
did.
his life.
Yeah.
He tore, I don't know what it's called in dogs, but his ACL when he was 12, jumped out of a tree, 6 feet up, jumped out of the tree.
Because we were throwing the ball.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was different after that. When we removed his teeth, he no longer put his head out the window in the car. Um, we could see a sadness. We
Yeah.
definitely could. And it was just,
Breaks your
it was
heart.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was. So, anyway,
I mean, we did it for his well-being, but
Of course.
you know,
Of course. And who knows him better than you? I mean, that's why we have to involve owners because you know him better than anyone else and you clearly care for him more than words can say. So I think you guys did the right thing. Um, so did you guys notice a difference after starting the PerioVive? Did you see a difference in his eating, playing, personality, energy level?
to be honest, with Apollo, no.
He was so
Apollo was
stoic.
always on, okay, always on. Um, so we didn't notice any change other than the fact we knew he wasn't in pain anymore. But I can't tell you that, yeah, he started eating again or chewing, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so
yeah,
yeah,
it's hard because there was no, when he developed this, he didn't change. Even though his gums were red and inflamed, there was really no change as far as how he behaved and how he ate and everything like that.
we
So,
had no idea. And he was in,
yeah.
in a vet we had chosen for his general checkup. And she noticed this redness, put him on antibiotics. Like I
Mhm.
said, 8 months later, nothing changed. And then we found Dr. Redmon,
Mhm.
and that changed everything.
We just happened to live in the right area and people
Yeah.
talked about her all the time and we took him.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, with all of that said, Apollo became the very first patient, like we said, to use PerioVive for stomatitis, and he really changed the trajectory of the company. What does it mean to you to be a part of something new that will help other dogs and cats in the future?
To say we're flattered is I'm sure is the absolute wrong word that I should be using. But
Proud.
we are very proud,
Yeah.
and anything we can do to let other people know
Hmm.
that you need to try this.
Right.
Like I said,
It
it was
works
life changing. It was
amazingly.
life
Yeah.
changing. Did we answer that question okay? Or
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
okay,
you nailed
okay.
it. Anything else that you guys would like to add? I'm certainly not tired of hearing about Apollo. He sounded like such a special, special guy.
Aside from his goofiness, I mean,
Yeah.
he was just always such a happy dog,
Yeah.
just happy, happy. He would
Yeah.
run and going swimming and going to the beach. He loved that. Um,
When he was young, Gary would throw the ball out in the waves on the East Coast. And I was so afraid that the little boy that he was at that time would never make it back. And Ella would come swimming back.
we have pictures of him jumping and his
Yeah.
ears flopping with his
Oh,
long orange ball in his mouth.
I
Um,
love that.
When we moved here, we would be high up on a cliff and throw it down into the water, and he would run down the cliff and run back up. And he would never get tired. He
it
was
was
just
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's probably why he lived to be 15.
That's right. He was relentless.
And
Yeah.
Wow.
he was basically, when he tore his ACL, or whatever that muscle was, that again, that slowed him down.
Mhm.
Not completely, but it slowed him down. But otherwise, until he was 12 years old, his energy level just stayed
Yeah.
exactly the same as it was when he was 6 months old.
Yeah.
Um,
The surgery took a lot. He ended up with a plate and 7 screws to repair that. It was the cranial crucia ligament or something like that. And
I used to play with him all the time,
yeah,
throwing the ball up. He
yeah,
would stand on a branch. It was a tree that kind of bent over. And this one time he just took it and turned around
it
and
went the
decided to
wrong.
jump.
Yeah,
I tried to catch him, but it was too late.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
Well,
he
what a
was
testament to your care that he lived such a long and happy life. I can't
Went
imagine
through a
that.
lot though. He did. The poor guy. He had
he
his teeth removed, then he had to have that surgery on his leg, but
cut his foot a couple times on glass in the lakes that we would take him.
Doing
Uh,
something fun though.
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Always
Yeah.
doing something fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
He also, I don't know, had something. What was the disease that he has?
The autoimmune disease.
No, no, the other one where his head
So
would
he
turn.
had an episode of vestibular disease.
Vestibular.
We didn't know what was happening to him then.
He
So
went swimming
a few days later, we took him.
and he went under the water
Gary,
because he could. So I jumped in the water to actually have to pull him out,
Wow.
scared to death,
Yeah.
but
he didn't know what was up and what
it
was
was down.
down.
Yeah.
I mean, the poor guy. He
It
was,
lasted a week and then he's been fine ever since.
Wow.
Fine ever since. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, just
Wow.
one more thing our poor baby had to
yeah,
put
he
up
went
with.
through a lot, but
What a
he's
trooper.
back.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Donna and Gary. I appreciate you spending your time with me today. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for sharing Apollo's story. I think that his journey reminds all of us why this work really matters, not just improving oral health, but improving connection and quality of life for these animals that we love so deeply. And his impact will continue far beyond this conversation, and he's always going to hold a very special place in the story of PerioVive.
It warms our heart to no end.
I love that.
We can, if you want, also, if somebody who's going through what we were going through wants to reach out, we'd be more than happy to do that through messaging or email, to just if they have questions and we can explain. Although I'm sure you guys can do that, better than I can. But anyway,
I think it means more coming from you, Gary. So thank you so much for that.
sure.
All right. Well, with closing here, thank you to our listeners for tuning in to Tooth Be Told. If you're passionate about veterinary dentistry, don't forget to check out more episodes and resources on periovive.com. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thank
All
you.
right.